have some light here. It's awful in the dark. You don't know where you are. You don't know where anyone is.
I was just told to drop them off. I didn't know what they were going to do here on the island.
How perfectly lovely.
Miss Claythorne?
You're Rogers?
Yes. Good evening, miss.
Good evening, Rogers. Would you mind bringing up my luggage and Captain Lombard's?
Very good, miss. My wife and I were hired by the Owens. We were engaged through a letter through a registry office, the Regina, in Plymouth.
That's a high-class firm. We can check on that.
I never actually met Mrs. Owen. I applied to a secretarial agency, Miss Grenfell's in London. I was offered this post and I accepted.
Well, I received an invitation asking me to be the guest of Mr. and Mrs. Owen. It would be worth my while. They said they'd heard I got a reputation for being a good man in a tight place. There might be some danger, but it'd be alright if I had my eyes open.
Pretty wizard place you've got here.
I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary. Mrs. Owen has been detained in London, I'm afraid, and she won't be down until tomorrow.
Oh, too bad.
May I introduce Captain Lombard, Mr.
Marston.
I know the Owens. I got a wire from a pal of mine, Badger Berkeley. He's the one who told me to roll up here. Surprised me a bit because I had an idea the old hoss had gone up to Norway. I haven't got the wire.
Got a letter from this fellow Owen. Thought I must have met him sometime down at the club. He had mentioned some fellow cronies of mine who were to be here. Thought I'd excuse informal invitation. Haven't got the letter, I'm afraid.
There's something very peculiar about all of this. I received a letter 2 or 3 weeks ago regarding from a woman whom I had met at a summer resort many years ago. I took the name in the letter to be Ogden, and I am quite certain that I have never met nor became familiar by anyone of the name of Owen.
How are you? Davis is the name.
Mine's Armstrong.
Dr. Armstrong.
In the circumstances, I think I may admit that my visit here was professional. Mr. Owen wrote me, concerned about his wife's health. Her nerves, to be precise. He wanted a report without her being alarmed. He therefore suggested that my visit be regarded as that of an ordinary guest.
I run a detective firm up in Plymouth. I was put on to this job. Mr. Owen put me on. Sent a very nice money order for expenses and said I was to join the house party, posing as a guest. He also sent me a list with all of your names and told me I was to keep an eye on all of you.
Our host hasn't arrived yet, sir. My name's Lombard.
Mine's Wargrave. How do you do? An old friend of mine, Lady Constance Comington, writes to me in her usual vague, incoherent way, urges me to join her here, and refers to her host and hostess in the vaguest of terms.
Ladies and gentlemen, silence, please. You are charged with these indictments that you did respectively and at diverse times commit the following. Ellen Armstrong, that you did cause the death of Louise Mary Queen. William Henry Bloor, that you brought about the death of James Stephen Lennon. Emily Caroline Brent, that you were responsible for the death of Beatrice Taylor. Vera Elizabeth Claythorne, that you killed Peter Emerson. Philip Lombard, that you were guilty of the death of 21 men, members of the East African tribe. John Gordon Mackenzie, that you sent your wife's lover, Arthur Richards, to his death. Anthony James Marston, that you were guilty of the murder of John and Lucy Combs. Thomas Rogers and Ethel Rogers, that you brought about the death of Jennifer Brady. Lawrence John Wargrave, that you were guilty of the murder of Edward Seaton. Prisoners at the bar, have you anything to say in your defense?
While she was sitting there, one of us.
One of us.
Which of us?